Okay, so we're gonna figure out today exactly why Jews eat certain foods on Shabbos, right? Where there's Jews, there's food. So Piskay Teshuvos over here in Siman Reichnun, Osyud Beis discusses this, and we're gonna go through individual food items, as he says that Sadiki Hadoiros Hainohogin Liyache Tafshil. There were many righteous people of the generation, Sadikim, that had the custom to designate a specific dish for Shabbos that they would eat. All right, so now we're going to go through each item. They would only eat it on Shabbos and not during the week. This Shabbos food has the ability to spiritually and physically help a person out, heal a person. And that's why it's incorrect to have a dairy meal on Shabbos and Yontif. Even if it's a very nice food. Not in Shabbos at night, not in Shabbos during the day. Rather, there is a strong custom to eat these specific items, which we're going to go through each one individually. One should be careful to eat fish on Shabbos. Marok, soup, ubasar, that's meat. The Suda Shabbos in the Suda during the day. Those specific items that should be eaten. Ubesifria mekubalim kasu, lahakbid alachilas lifton tapuchim, or tapuchim chaim lo Shabbos. Could be an idea kabalistically to have apples. Bechina chilas pashtida, kugal, mekubal b'mesuras yisol mekadbas doner. It's also a strong custom to eat kugal on Shabbos. Now we're going to have to see. Does it depend what type of kugal? Is there a difference if it's a potato kugal, a noodle kugal, an apple kugal? We're going to have to see.
Isn't like pastita like a dough filled with cheese or filling or
What,
something like
pastita?
that? Yeah.
The truth is we're going to learn more about this in Reish Mem Beis, but it's a whole discussion what this is. Right now
we're saying it's kugal.
he's saying it's kugal. All right?
And also
Yeah.
the beginning was that he's saying that the food is infused with a certain that can give you refuahs on
Yes,
Shabbos, right?
that's right.
So how does he know that it's only basar, like those three things?
Oh, we're going to be going through each one in the sources.
And he's going to explain how
Oh, yeah.
why it's dafka that.
Oh,
and why
yeah.
menachos can't.
That's right. That's right. We're just learning up top first. Ve'ein letzalzel b'mesordos u'menhagi avos b'chol inyonei tavshiliyu ma'acholi Shabbos ki yisoidosam b'harari kodesh. One should not belittle this tradition that we have and this custom that we have from our ancestors with every single specific type of dish and food on Shabbos, because their foundations are from holy mountains, so to say. That when it says you should have delicacies, this talks about not even during the actual Shabbos meal itself, anytime on Shabbos. Also types of items that smell good as well. You have talking about something that you smell like besamim, so that you'll be able to get a bracha. You'll get to the 100 brachas as is discussed in Siman Mem Vav. Let's go through now each and every food item independently. Footnote 70. B'sefer Tomer Devaira, Minhagi Chasam Sofer, Shenohag Shelo Ochel Dogim Ela B'Shabbos V'Yom Tov V'Rosh Chodesh. In the Sefer Tomer Devaira, relates over there, the custom of the Chasam Sofer was to only eat fish on Shabbos and Yontif and Rosh Chodesh. All right? Fish. ומציינים לזה גם לדברי התיקון זר צריך לשינוי להם מיום דחולה בלבושין ומאכלין דאינונן Shabbos. The Zohar himself says that a person needs to change from his weekday ways. He needs to change from his weekday ways. What does that mean? In the way he dresses, belavushin, in the way he dresses, in the way he eats. That is considered an oneg for Shabbos. Ubachulo ba'i lemivad b'Shabbos toisefes. And all of them you need to do on Shabbos a toisefes. You need to add on that. Amram yishasayin ki le'echel b'techilas hashavua Mishayuri ma'acholi Shabbos like a tepeda. Aha. Yeah, this is a very important point. Yeah.
Leftovers.
So we're talking about over here that what? That food is designated for Shabbos. Right? That's what we're saying over here. We're saying over here there would be miyachid tavshil. They would designate a food misuyam shayu oichlem rak b'Shabbos v'loy b'masachol. That the food was designated to be eaten just on Shabbos and not during the week. So how then, if you have any leftovers, do you need to just discard of it, throw it out? How are you allowed to eat the leftovers?
So you're saying it's not a problem.
Oh, he's saying if you're eating in the beginning of the week leftovers, there's no issue over there. Why? The contrary, it is fitting and correct. Moshe Kasav Benay Yissaschar, like Benay Yissaschar writes, Shehu Ke'ein Shiyuri Menachos. It's almost like a leftover korban mincha. The Yerushalmi also relates in Moed Kotman, the Rabbi Yochanan would be malakit perudin shenishnu mesudas reish chodesh lachar shekadshu beis enes hachodesh. The Rabbi Yochanan would gather the perudin crumbs that remain from the Sudan Rosh Chodesh. After Beis Din, they sanctified the month.
No concept of no, sir.
Right. So there's an idea of having Shabbos food, and there's an idea of having leftover Shabbos food. But there's not an idea of just having Shabbos food in the middle of the week when it's not leftovers and when it's not tasting right before Shabbos to see if the dish is good for Shabbos to amount.
The little shishi stuff is
So let's remind ourselves of the Lel Shishi tshuva that we learned from Rav Harfinis.
right. He wasn't so happy.
He was very upset with the restaurants, with the places, the mikvaos that are selling kugals, and it's not to'ameha, and it's before Shabbos, and people are feasting away on it.
Shabbos food, it's not Shabbos.
He was not happy with that at all.
So they better stick to poppers or
Exactly, stick to the poppers. So they have this program about look, it's not an isser, it's a concept that's brought down. It's a concept, it's not full-fledged prohibition, but footnote 71. How do we know, by the way, that this food could actually heal a person physically and spiritually? The Benay Yissaschar comes along and says, Ma'achali Shabbos heim samachayim l'Yisrael. It's like a medicine for the Jews. Oh, wow. And therefore, men of great deed were careful to only make sure that Yidden were eating the Shabbos food.
even after Shabbos. No,
especially on Shabbos. I don't know.
Shabbos. Yeah.
Ma'achali Shabbos. Sefer Kehilos Moshe, Ma'achali Shabbos, Hema Refuah. So the Kehilos Moshe says that Ma'achali Shabbos, the Shabbos food, has medicinal advantages as well. It could heal a person. Right? So, right, seems like it's special. Special just for people who observe Shabbos. And it will heal. The Sefer Tiferet Shlomo. From all the food that a person eats on Shabbos, he could be healed. You see certain times, especially now, a lot of people are getting the flu, bad versions of the flu, colds. You see sometimes you just have the chicken soup on Shabbos. It's all over. That's it. Doesn't always work, but sometimes. Shetekabel al atzma l'hoisef od machal l'kavod Shabbat z'rafua b'kachava. That one time the wife of the Darchei Tshuva was very sick, dangerously, and they said, "Accept upon yourself to add another food for Shabbos," and that's what she did, and then she was protected. Footnote 3. How do you get the oh, here. No. Gotta be like somewhere in between. Aha! 180. 5 times 10. You can't go wrong with that one. Okay. Footnote 7.3. So you don't have dairy, not at night, and not during the day. Aval besuda shlishis in kapeda ubilva chilchel dagim. For that third Suda on Shabbos, the Shaleshudes, there's no problem if it's dairy, as long as you have fish. Once you're having fish.
All these guys are so big on the herring, I guess they don't know why, but
This is why. So this is the idea of the dairy. I wonder if there's a PDF. Is there a halachas ketanos here? I don't see it. All right, well, what's the source of these tshuvas? The source of this idea of not having a dairy suda is in a leket yosher. I didn't make a PDF on the leket yosher. I feel like I looked into this. No. Okay. You have a leket yosher, quoted by the Shaleshudes Mishnah halachos. Oh, Mishnah halachos. Is there a mem? Mishnah halachos. I knew I made something on this. I just knew it.
all right.
All right. By the way, when did I make this? I'm testing myself. This must have been 2 weeks ago. Where do you see the Mishnah halachos? You see it here? Mishnah halachos. What is this? 1/7. 1 month ago. Come on, we're taking too long to get to this. Made this a month ago. All right. Anyway, comes along the Mishnah halachos written by, oh, I didn't even underline it. That was Rush. Written by Rabbi Menashe Klein. And he's going to now deal with having a dairy meal on Shabbos, something incredibly relevant. For vegetarians, at least. Davar hashela, yesh inyan yachol, dafka ma'achalim elu shenagu avosein lechel b'Shabbos, o efshel lashonos lefi ma sheyirtze. Do we have to eat what our tradition that we received is, specific Shabbos foods, or could we switch it up and go Chinese? After all, the Chinese restaurants that are kosher do have Shabbos specials.
Yes, they do.
They want business also. Well, if you're is daiti, hine pashat the kol ma'achalim shekiblu avoseinu ein lashanos hu gam kein shinui b'minhag im efshe. Starting off with some strong words, we have a tradition and we have to keep to this tradition. Ra'isi b'leket yosher. I found the leket yosher. He quoted Shehevi b'shem Rabbo shel Trumas Hadeshin. He quoted his Rebbe, the Rebbe of the Trumas Hadeshin, Rabbi Aaron, Zeicher Sadish Kadosh Levracha, Shim Echad Roitze Leshanos Sali Shel Shabbos Shar Tivol Le'echol Shaluk B'makom Sli Harishus Biyado. If a person doesn't want something roasted, rather he wants something cooked instead of roasted. Roasted, of course, is more with a type of grill fire situation. Cooked is more like in a pan. He's allowed to do that. If he likes to cook better than roasted. But someone who likes roasted more than shaluk or mavushal, different types of being cooked, so then he should have sli. Shudera kedoila. That is a greater way. Devi Raya, and he provides a proof to this point from the tshuva from Tosfos and Chulent. The Dibur and Achal and Sli. Ubertur in your day, Hachos Tanas Kahuna, Shasli Derek Kedoila. V'im kol hametamim shavim, etzlo yochel sli. If everything's equal, then he should eat roasted, seems to be better. All right, ubachardel derech gedoila. And mustard is a way of greatness. I'm not sure what he means over there on that line. Bachardel derech gedula.
You're dipping, so you have extra condiments. So it makes you
dips. All right. All right, so that's the idea over here. Umine. And we could infer from there that what? The kol shekain im sli tov lo yoiser vadish tzarch lesel sli. Fine. V'yisef shekol echad mi Yisrael yaseh lo kedavar muat. B'shachris b'shabbos klor matzliya. Now the in lashonos hadogim v'laso is pashtit at the makom hadogim.
Wow.
Oh, ki yish lo tam acher b'kabbalah. You got to stick with the kugal, and
no nishmit the kugal.
Yeah, don't do the kugal instead of the fish. It's in addition to the fish. המבואר מרבינו בעל תשומה סדשת באכול Shabbos Yom Tov al pi Kabbalah niskenu ve'in l'shanos. The Shabbos food on Shabbos and Yom Tov has kabalistic sources and it shouldn't be changed. Now, I want to just say something, my own thoughts, after learning this brief tshuva, which is, we don't see anywhere in this tshuva that he said that you can't have dairy on Shabbos. However, it's clearly implied and inferred from it, because he says you got to stick with the Masorah.
But we did learn about oneg as opposed to simcha, right? Oneg, you have to eat things that you enjoy.
We did. So you have to stick with the Masorah, but if you're oneg, if you're a vegetarian, then you could have the dairy. That's what it comes to. We didn't see he was anti-dairy. We said he was pro sticking with the Masorah of having the kugal and all the foods that you have on Shabbos, etc. So I just wanted to point that out from this footnote over here. By the way, he says, look in siman Tov Sadi Daled, in Osir Alf, about dairy on Shavuos. That's another discussion. Yeah, the end of footnote 73 right over here. So he does point that out over there. Anyways, so Shaleshudes, there's no problem. All right. Now let's start going into the meat and potatoes. But before the meat and potatoes, let's start going into the fish. Why is there a tradition that dates back a long time for Jews to have fish on Shabbos? Why? Where does fish come from? Well, before we even go into this footnote, we already know where it comes from. The Gemara in Shabbos, in Kof Yotes, which we already learned. The story of Yosef Mokir Shabbos, right? The whole story with the fish, and he bought the fish Erev Shabbos when no one else was going to buy it. He wasn't even going to use it. He only bought it so that, the way that we learned, so that now they would keep hunting and selling fish on Erev Shabbos, keep fishing for fish. So that's the source of fish. And he ended up getting very wealthy from that. But what does he say over here? That's what I would say is the ultimate source. Some they do a type of chamutzim, literally means sour. Some do sweet. You know about that? Pickled? You gotta help me out. I'm not such a fish expert.
Neither am I. I hate that.
Yeah, man, I'm not so into the fish.
Maybe cream cheese and lox, but that's really it.
Yeah, I don't even go for that. Gam alachilos dogim memulayim gefilta. Oh, this is where it comes from. Fish that are full. This is the good old fashioned gefilta fish. For all customs, it's brought down. There's reasons for it. The Sefer Me'oyer Yishanim, he says limonim edogim meluchim hamavatel matayva. He was part of the anti-salted fish movement, because that apparently could nullify, that could cancel a person's desires. I mean, one could have those desires on Shabbos, only Shabbos. Who have the kanas Ezra. We already learned about this at length in Rav Harfness's Chuvas in the Nishma Shabbos over there. But it's talking about eating fish before the meat. The Pashib Shah, like Rav Harfness brought us, because it's healthier to eat the fish which digests. Sorry about that, which digests quicker than the meat. There were other explanations that Rav Harfness discussed, but this is one of the ideas over here. All right. He says, look at the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, Siman Lamed Beis, if Yud Beis, the Kaf HaChaim, Siman Kufnu and Zayin, Sivkot and Lamed Ches, based on the Rambam, which we already learned. The Lekutei Torah by the Baal HaTanya in Parshas Baloitzcha says, a reason Alpi Pnimius Lahakdamas Dogim Abasar. He offers another reason why we have the fish versus Inyan V'tam Lechol Roite V'Dogim B'Chala. Wow. Apparently there's a concept of dipping your challah in the fish juice and eating that. If that's not your thing, aka not my thing, then you don't need to do it. Right, of course, that's what I was thinking of was the reason. Obvious. Yeah. Some say the reason is that you connect domain, which is the inanimate, someach, something that grows, chai, something that's alive, that's the fish. And the medaber, the person who speaks.
The samech is the bread.
What's the doimim? What's the samech is the bread? What's the doimim?
Fish,
the juice? I don't know. All right, you have to ask the Noam Elimelech. Uminag sadikim lahaschil achilas dogim ma'ayin o v'seviva.
Oh,
Now, if this isn't your thing, you don't need to do it. There's a custom for certain people, righteous people, to begin eating the fish straight from the eye or around that area. This remembers Hashem's eye is always watching. He's very vigilant, watching our every act. Also, fish, they don't have eyelashes. Right? So that comes to that. The fish didn't sin during the time of the Mabul. So this is the fish business. He says, look at the Zohar, look at all these other sources. He's providing all the sources over here. Oh, this is where I saw it. Some have the custom to eat fish specifically with your fingers. Remember when we learned the tshuva from the Nishma Shabbos about washing in between fish and meat and fish? I said I saw it somewhere. It's right over here in this footnote. I knew I saw it somewhere. Some have the custom to use their fingers. Called the gay hayam biyadeichim nitanu. Based on this passage, it talks about with your hands.
so that's be all the time eat fish, not just Shabbos. You know?
I don't know, maybe. That's certainly not my custom.
Yeah.
Some of the custom eating meat like this as well. And he says when it comes to eating kugal, we already know the story that's quoted in the Sefer Maisa Ilpos that the Vilna Gaon would eat the kugal with his fingers. In our societies, we don't really do this, but that's why he says that's why you should wash your hands after Mayim Emsoim to separate between the fish and the meat, because if you have fish remnants on your hands, that could be dangerous because then you're going to eat the meat, you're going to eat it with the meat. All right. Now, afterwards, of course, you rinse out your mouth. So you're drinking a little bit of wine, schnapps, with some challah. That's actually discussed in your Adaya, siman Kuftes Zayin Sif Gimel. And not water or other light beverages immediately after the fish. That could be dangerous. The idea is with wine or schnapps.
Not water?
It says not water. The water is very neutral. What are you going to do with the water? It's not really going to clean out shop over there. When you have other beverages, you know, that could do something.
I'm saying like Shavuos and all that stuff, you do wash your mouth out with water, they bring it down.
Rinse, but between the fish, you got to get the flavor out also. The question that I have on this is, he says you can't have shar mashkaos kalam. What does that mean exactly?
Soda?
A light drink? I would think soda for sure would be fair game. That should be good soda. Sarchi and more on that nakuda that he's bringing up. Where does it come from, by the way, to have soup on Shabbos? You know what the source is? It's a Gemara Berachos Mem Daled. Any single Suda that doesn't have soup, the Gemara says, is not considered a Suda. All right? He says during the day we can fill our obligation with the juices from the cholent. The Sefer Imrei Pinchas, now we don't hold that way, that it's not considered a Suda without soup, but it's an opinion to contend with at least, an idea to contend with. It's in the Gemara. Sefer Imrei Pinchas relates that he would have lakshan. I think that's noodle kugal.
No, I think lakshan.
Oh, no, sorry, noodles in the soup. Sorry, noodles in the soup. Atrios aruchos, long noodles. The kabalistic reasons, some have a custom to have kitnios. Beans in the cholent, that's where it comes from.
Piece, is he saying that, but he's talking about your soup, no?
Yeah, but the cholent has the din of a soup.
Does it? Is that it?
That's what he said before. That's what he said. Some that during the day you fill your obligation with the roitiv shebachameh. Yeah, the cholent. That's another idea behind cholent. Amazing to learn about this.
Noodles in your soup.
How many people learn about this? Yeah, that's why we're on part 23 today. Right? Most people don't have the patience, but when you learn something properly, you really get a good background information. Right? Yeah, no, not noodles and cholent, noodles in the soup.
Oh, he said Stavka soup.
In the soup, the cholent has you have the beans, so you're covering your bases. That's where all of these things, they all intertwine together and connected. Yeah. So there's an enactment of Ezra to eat garlic on Shabbos night. And it could be in the soup or in the cholent. Also, you could put garlic. And
I wonder if, I mean, I'm not sure if they just liked soup, but I was by a rabbi's house when my son was born.
Yeah.
And he made sure to have the soup in a crock pot so he could have soup during the day.
You would have this, yeah.
He'd have the soup in the crock pot so he could have soup during the day.
Look, you could tell that rabbi that it's brought down over here. What? Well, you could tell his family members that the Piskay Teshuvos in siman Reish Nun Sifkot and footnote 75 relates that the cholent over here, that the cholent has the status of a soup. So you don't need to come on to the soup during the day. So Anyways, let's just finish this. This is the beginning of the oaths, which we skipped first, and we'll end with this today. All right. He's talking about.
Wait, is there anyone who holds that you can have soup during the day too, or no one says it
We just
because
said
to
if we just
you
said
can't have.
we just said
I know it's a
no.
cholent.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if
And
anyone. We haven't seen it brought
does this mean
down.
you should
Maybe
you
based
should have
on
a
this
you should
idea, maybe there's an idea of having it. Could very
you
well
should
be.
have you should have a soupier cholent? Does that mean what is that
It
it's
doesn't
better to
need
have
to
a
be too. I personally don't like all the liquid.
Yeah, no one likes
You
it.
know, you gotta keep in mind, don't go after the ketchup instead of the French fries. The French fries is the main course, aka the main idea is you have to enjoy your cholent. If you're more of a liquidy guy in your cholent, then you
No,
have
but
liquid. If you're less
I've
of
had
a liquidy guy, aka that's my personal preference, then you have less. But the point is that it has the status of a davar lach. That's for sure. Either way you go. All right.
I've had some nice soupy cholent. It's very
Yeah,
nice
all
too.
right. So then
Like
you
that,
go to soup.
like the
All right, let's
stew.
finish this last paragraph over here. This is talking about you have a lot of meat and yayin and Shabbos and delicacies according to your financial ability, the Shulchan Aruch said, even if you're only going to have a kazayis, right? Set your table like a choshev, a king is coming, a choshev Rosh Yeshiva, big gadol hador. Shechal, what happens when Rosh Chodesh falls out on Shabbos? Old news. We learned this in Siman Tuf Yud Tes. We learned this. The custom is to have one food more than you would have, one extra dish more than you would have in every other Shabbos of the year. So it'll be recognizable that it's done in honor of Shabbos. Some say that similarly, when Yontif falls out on Shabbos, or if it's Shabbos and it's Chol Hamoed falls out on Shabbos, so then you also have an extra dish because we're talking about extra auspicious and holy times. All right, so this is the story with specific food items on Shabbos. Mitzvah Hashem, tomorrow we will begin our summary of this siman in the Word doc and the Chazara, and that's what we will do tomorrow. Mitzvah Hashem.
Wow, isn't it very I liked it. Who said that? Wait, where is it brought it down about a suda is not considered a suda if it doesn't have soup?
That is actually a Gemara in Berachos on Mem Daled Amud Aleph. And you
Wow.
can see the recordings for that Gemara on rabbiblon.com for more details. Look a lot. That's machine.
No. It's free advertising.
Oh,
Yeah, it's all right. All right,
All right,
everyone
got
should
it.
have a wonderful day.
sure.
All right, welcome to.